Because as we say in the Caribbean, a liar is a thief and a thief is a murderer.
What if the world can change me?
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Leilani of Barbados. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. I promised to review this Thomas Markle interview because I think it might be very important, although sometimes his interviews, are so-so. This is by GB News and they are talking in the beginning, they're just doing an intro about how much Thomas Markle supported Meghan.
A dedicated and loving father, Thomas helped inspire his young daughter's Hollywood ambitions by inviting her on TV sets, where he worked as an Emmy Award-winning lighting director. And back then, Thomas would never have predicted that despite decades of devotion, he would miss Meghan's fairy tale wedding to a prince, have to threaten legal action to see his grandchildren, and be estranged from his beloved daughter on her 40th birthday with no idea whether he would...
He's very pixelated in this video.
Last week, is it true that you sent her a bunch of flowers?
Yes, I sent her a bouquet of flowers.
Okay, so he's just talking about how he sent Meghan a bouquet of flowers for her 40th birthday. Anyway, let's skip through this because ain't nobody care about the bouquet. He didn't hear back from her, so who cares?
No, I haven't heard back. I really didn't expect to hear back from her, but...
Okay, so he's kind of complaining about the same things that he complains about in every interview. And he did say that he's doing this for the reasons of reaching out to her until she gets back to him. And nothing seems to be working, obviously. But the different spin on this one is, okay, so you remember like he did this photo shoot deal with an image improvement counselor or whatever. He's now saying that they charmed his eldest daughter, Samantha, and I did a video on her.
They went and they charmed my oldest daughter, Samantha.
And he said he would not have done the image improvement if he was 10 years younger, but he's not blaming it on old age.
I'm not blaming this on my old age.
I mean, why not blame it on old age though? Old age is a bitch, if that's what they say. And of course, at 10 years ago, he would have been a different person in a different life. And he might have had more self-esteem, more self-confidence, you know, trying to show himself fitting for suits. He, you know, sorry, not suits as in, not suits as in the TV show. Which nobody cares about. I keep saying it, nobody cares about it. But fitting for suits prior to the wedding, and then also like exercising and trying to lose weight prior to the wedding. I think most fathers do that, you know, getting ready for a wedding. But he felt it was important to show that because they had made him look so badly. She wasn't really talking to him. I mean, he complains that Prince Harry never came in person to propose. He only did it over the phone. Thomas Markle is correct. Like, that is not the right thing to do. You should really do it in person. And as a prince, you would expect that to be done in person. So it shows you that Meghan Markle never put any respect on her father's name.
I'll drill y'all. Stop playing with my name. Respect, no more. Put some respect on it. I ain't gonna say it, no more. Y'all finished or y'all done? No more.
When this is a man whose entire life is formal, he's a prince. Everything is a formality. So yeah, I mean, he could see that that was probably a bad sign. Can we just agree that that was not a big deal? For him to want to improve his image was not a big deal. He should not regret it. He should not be apologizing for it. I mean, okay, he lied to her. She lied. He lied. They all lie. We're going to get to that in a minute. The whole psychology on that. But it's important to know that it's not a bad thing that he did. I don't feel it's a bad thing. If my father does something to improve my, you know, image and his image improve my image, I mean, I absolutely think that's considerate and unselfish of him to do so. Like, I don't understand why he's apologizing for it. They've been thrown into a situation that they know nothing about. And a lot of people don't understand that until recently. People more understand that now because of the whole pandemic thing, where we've been thrown into situations that we never knew anything about. But he was thrown into a situation that he knew nothing about when people did not know what that felt like. So can we just have mercy on him? Like, okay, why doesn't she have mercy on him? Anyway, then we get to this place where he asks, the interviewer asks this amazing question.
Do you believe that she was telling the truth, Thomas? And do you think your daughter has the capacity to tell lies?
She's been lying for a year. She's been lying on and off over different things for Lying about the Archbishop?
We were all like, crickets, crickets, crickets. All the things that were debunked, he's just repeating that. We all have covered that for him, so we know that. But then the interviewer asked if she's always lied.
Did she always
Oh, yeah,
have the
that's right.
capacity to lie, Thomas?
That's when we're like, okay, now you can tell us, because we have decided that this is not something you just suddenly come up with in life and start doing. And he says no. He says no.
No. This is new. This is new. This is since actually this is since Harry. I think Harry's the influence.
She never always lied. He blames it on her, what is it? The royal family and her new set of friends. He calls them the Soho friends that made her start lying and creating this other image for herself to impress them. So I'm gonna go off on a limb. I disagree. I don't think, well, hear me out for a minute. So I find lying, and I know some liars. I do. I think we all do. But I think lying is a sign of mental illness as an adult. Can you imagine being an adult and being a liar? Like, that's so embarrassing. That's so embarrassing to be an adult and just be a liar. And especially because of Meghan and Harry always saying they can tell their truth and being authentic. Then why can't you just tell the truth? To make up stories to the point where your husband cannot even corroborate the stories that you're making up. And is trying to like stop you, and you have to like stop him, and he has to stop you and stop because you're just lying. That's so embarrassing. And as a father, as Thomas Markle is a father, I feel like he must be very embarrassed about that, because it says a lot about how he raised her. Let's look at it like depression. Depression can be a chemical imbalance, or it can be situational depression. And I kind of feel like lying is like what he's trying to say, that lying is like that. Like, it's not something she always did. It's not something she can't help doing. It's just something that, because of the situation of being in this highfalutin society, she then had to start to make up stories to make herself look better and lie. I'm not sure how I feel about that. And please tell me in the comments, how do you feel about it? Do you really think that Meghan was never a liar because he raised this honest person, and then just her situation with the royal family and all the new friends she had made her become a liar? Tell me down in the comments what you think about liars. All right, so the interviewer presses him a little bit more and says, okay, so what about the not knowing about the royal family lie? Because there are these pictures of her in Buckingham Palace with her friend, which we've all covered as well. And he says that at that time she did not want to be part of the royal family. She wanted to be a dancer. I mean, I guess you could want to be part of the royal family and also want to be a dancer at the same time, because both are fantasy, ambitions that you may or may not ever achieve. So, okay, moving on. Speaking of ambition, then he goes on to say that this is a big joke that she wants to become United States Prime Minister. Lord, I don't even know what country I'm in. She doesn't want to be the president of the United States of America, or any member of government of the United States of America. That's a big joke.
Says that she harbours an ambition to become the US president.
I think that's a joke.
So we don't have to look forward to that in the future. Then he asks this hilarious question about her being snubbed from Obama's party. And I find that really hilarious, because there are all these hilarious articles, which I'll pull up here, about how she doesn't think she'll ever, or they don't think, Harry and Meghan don't think they'll ever get over how they've been snubbed and how they've been shunned or whatever, ever since the Obama party that they didn't get invited to. Get a life. Get a life. Seriously? You're championing the causes of birds and turtles and preaching all the time at people, but you're so hurt because those are lives, and those are lives that we need to protect, these animals. Fair enough. But that doesn't actually go with being so distraught over a party invite. Like the two personalities don't really match together. There's a grassroots thing, and then there's like the society thing. And so none of it makes sense, and everyone is getting really tired of it because it seems so superficial on the surface, their causes and their preaching, and people can't really get past that at this point, especially after the Oprah interview. I mean, maybe before that we would have believed in them, but I think after that people just can't get past the superficiality of the whole thing and the setup, and it all seems very staged. It's all staged. Anyway, Mr. Markle thinks that he agrees they should be snubbed. He thinks Harry's mental illness is a joke.
Harry claims that he's reclaiming his mental illness. He's curing himself of the mental illness. Is a joke.
Wow. We can't say that. We're not allowed to say that. So how come? Okay, he said it. This was really special to me. Okay, this is really important here. He's asked, did Meghan experience racism growing up?
Did Meghan experience racism growing up, Thomas?
And Thomas Markle says, drum roll.
No.
Which is what I've been telling
Not at all
of you, but you don't listen to me. I've been telling you from day one in the Meghan Markle interview, there is no way that she was taken as a black woman trying to rob a shop or whatever. She was never experiencing racism the way she looks like. And he goes on to say, and this is his perspective, which is unique to him, that she did not experience racism because she had both races as friends. And what he's trying to say is that she meandered through both races. She was able to do that. And that's something that I can identify with, even the way I look like, because if you see my parents, what they look like, then you would understand how it's possible to be part of both cultures equally. Because one culture might accept you only because of how that parent looks, and another culture might be able to accept you just because of how that parent looks like. Anyway, the whole point is, when you're alone in this world and you're going for your career in this world, I said that Meghan would not have experienced racism. So that's when they ask him, Thomas Markle, so when she identified as white or Caucasian in her career, what did you think of that?
She one time came to me and she said she didn't know what to mark on a box. There was a box she got on a piece of paper at school. You have to mark what race you are. And I told her to draw her own box, make her own box. I said, make her own box and I'll defend you. I'll write out underneath, this is what she is. If she wants to say, my mom is white, my dad is black, or my mom is black and my dad is white, do whatever makes you feel right.
He actually says to her, you can say whatever you want. You can say that you have a black father and a white mother, or you can say you have a black mother and a white father. You can say that you are white. And he goes on to say that she can really just create whatever she wants for herself. And that's where the Hollyweird comes in, because those forms are official forms that you're filling out. And no, you may not just say that you're Pacific Islander. No, you may not. So that's not okay to just say whatever you want. And that's where you realize he did create a liar, which is what I always thought. I thought that your children are a reflection of you. And if you have a child out there lying like that at that age and stage in her life, then clearly she never learned about good and bad, about honesty and dishonesty. Because as we say in the Caribbean, a liar is a thief and a thief is a murderer. And I think the common denominator is cowardice. You have to be a coward to not tell the truth. You have to be a coward to steal and not get your own, and not feel confident enough to get your own things in life. And you have to be a coward to murder, as opposed to resolving a situation with another human being. So this is why I think he contradicts himself there, where he's like, oh, but I did tell her she could lie on her official forms about her actual race, which is a fact. Like, I don't know. Anyhow, I'm not going to dwell too much on that anymore, but gotcha, Daddy Markle. Then they ask him, they kind of wind down the interview at this point, I believe. Yeah, they start winding it down, talking about how much of the letter he released and how much he didn't release. And, you know, that whole letter that she released part of, and then he then released another part. And that's where he got into problems, or the newspaper got into problems. And he then says, again, he reiterates that he held back on a lot of the stuff that was in the letter because it was just too painful for him to release. So he didn't even really shed a bad light on her, as bad as it could have been. Yeah, they just readdressed the whole paying for her education, and he says he paid for all of it, and he could then get the receipts from the universities and the different schools that she went to prove that, but he hasn't done that. But everyone knows he won the lottery and had money and paid for her. Everyone knows that. Okay, we believe him. Then he's just asked this silly question about Lilibet versus what he likes to call the baby, which is Lily. If the baby exists, I have to say that because I have to. It's just, we don't know. So he says Lilibet was totally unnecessary. He doesn't believe in using that name. And he just calls her Lily. And of course, whenever he calls her Lily in these messages that he sends, he doesn't get any response, and he's never going to meet the baby anyway, right? So like, he can call her whatever he wants. I mean, he could call her asshole if he wants to. And nobody cares because nobody responds to it. Nobody's responding to it. But I do feel very bad for him. That's the end of the interview. And I feel extremely, I honestly, all of this, the whole setup is very pitiful, really. The light is always in the back, which means it's coming through the back. Not that you all want to hear about all these technical setup terminology and stuff like that, but he's getting backlight on him, and he knows better than that. Obviously, he knows better than me. But I just have to notice these things and say, like, this man really didn't care anything about anything. He didn't go to a place that had better Wi-Fi. This actually looks like it looks like a slideshow of pictures because it's glitching so much. And I just like, oh, the frame, it just keeps freezing. Oh, it's so good to be back and reviewing all these things I wanted to talk about. Thank you so much for listening to me, and if you like it, please thumbs up and press the bell notifications because I'm always creating stuff and I have some exciting things coming up, I must tell you. So stick with me. And yeah, what else? Oh, comment. Obviously, I ask you some questions anyway. I always ask you questions, and comment, and please keep talking to me offline, as we say, on my Instagram. Thank you. Send me messages. I do respond to you a lot there, and I respond to the comments too. But some of them, like someone said that they didn't like my setup. Like they were like, oh, you're in the corner somewhere. I mean, did somebody tell you that I lived in Goring Castle with Lady Colin Campbell? Because I don't. I don't have a house that I have a studio inside, or like I have a wing for my recording and my shooting. I don't. This is my corner, and it's comfy. It's cozy, and I love it. Thank you so much for watching. Lots of love to you all. Mwah, 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 mwah.